Hello. Welcome to my next video. With great difficulty, I've tried to take this video, putting the little one off to sleep. Actually, Daddy's doing the second half of the work. It's just so funny. He will not go to sleep by himself. If Mummy goes with him, he needs Daddy. If Daddy goes with him, he needs Mummy. Anyway, that's life. But in today's video, I think I want to my biggest inspiration is I was watching a couple of sustainable living videos just to know, read, and understand. And one of them spoke about a couple of things that are very important to us beginners. And I'm going to list all those, not a couple of things, 3 things very importantly. The first thing being self-care. Second thing being knowing where you are in this whole journey. And the third thing being your why, basically. So taking it into parts, self-care. The reason why self-care is so much more important, or self-worth in this whole journey is so much more important, because we want to offer so much to our home, our community, save the planet. We want to go ahead and do so many things, and especially with climate change, with the way we want to change our way of life and way of living, we are so much worried about the bigger picture, right? So it's just everywhere, all over the news. People are like, they're just raving about things and raving about changes and worrying about things. So all we want to think about is always save the planet, and what always can we contribute towards saving the planet. And I think the first step is to save things in our zone first. So how are we nurturing ourselves? In my previous video, I was talking about products. I was talking about what we're consuming, be it externally, be it internally. So it's a continuation of that. So understand what you want to feed yourself first, how you want to feed yourself first. If you're taking in products, if you're using products, if you're focusing on storage, if you're focusing on plastic, if you're focusing on chemical-free, anything that is causing an effect to the environment in a bad way. For all of this, do this to yourself first. Forget about the planet, forget about the community, forget about doing it for others. Do it to yourself. Feel how you do it, feel it when you do it to yourself, and you will feel the worth of it. And once you feel it, I feel like you'll have so much more confidence in the way you contributed to others, in the way you contributed to your community, and then to the earth. That's our main goal, right? So I think self-care in that manner is so much important for us in terms of sustainable living. The second thing is check-in. I feel like there is a point where we all need to reach and do our own check-in to say where we are right now. If we sort of begin our journey in sustainable living, we would have probably started at some point, and then there's like a couple of months that's gone. The fire is very fire is in its full form in the beginning, and then after a point you're like, okay, I've done this, now what? So I think it's good to check in after a point of time to see what all you've been up to so far. If you've changed certain things, if you've changed the way you shop, if you've changed the way you keep your home, if you've changed the way you commute to work, if you changed the way your children's toys are, if you've like stopped buying single-use plastic toys, and if you've changed that, and if you've started teaching your children certain things, if you've started discussing certain things with your parents who have little awareness of what these things are, check in and note down and see how you have sort of progressed from where you started. It could be 1% progress, it could be 25%, it could be 80%, it doesn't matter, but it's always progress. So I feel that check-in is needed to see where you are right now, and from there, how can you contribute? From there, what can you reduce? And from there, what can you... So I was talking to my husband about this, and then he was saying, yes, like for example, we kind of not use leather, and then in certain things like in automobiles, we don't use leather seats, we don't use leather steering wheels, but what is the replaceable product that we use in that? And is that replaceable product actually eco-friendly, actually environment friendly, or the synthetics that are used in that product do they actually cause more harm in terms of if they are used and thrown away, if they're wasted, then how are they basically getting degraded in the environment? So things like that. So I think that way a check-in is very important to understand if we have certain habits, if we have changed, what have we changed and why have we changed. It's sort of like, I've changed from like normal plastic toothbrushes to bamboo brushes, but they're all compostable, exciting. For me, in my apartment complex, they don't even compost. I've spoken to people a lot number of times about it, but it's still in progress. They've not yet started composting here in this apartment, which means I need to find a place where composting is done in the right way. So it's just not enough for you to buy bamboo toothbrushes and use bamboo toothbrushes. Where are you sort of disposing them? Where are you allowing them to actually compost in the right way possible? So all these things will come into picture when you start having that check-in point. That's enough for the check-in. And the third point I would want to really, really, really stress is finding out your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I becoming a more environment conscious person? Why am I becoming a more sustainable living person? Be it fashion, be it cooking, be it storing, be it in any way of living. What is my why, basically? Even in yoga teaching, yoga practice, I think I focus a lot on my why. If I take up one peak pose in a class, I'm like, why am I actually doing this? What does it give them? What does it offer people? Same way in my personal practice, if I talk about a principle or something, why this value system for me? And the more I ask myself why, the more I'm clear. So the more I'm intrigued about it, the more I read about it, which means the more I can actually talk about it to people. People with less awareness, people with more awareness, people who do not follow the way we follow things may come and intimidate us with great questions. But unless and until we know why we're doing certain things, we'll never be able to sort of, justify ourselves saying, this is why I do it. And the more we read about it and the more we create our own self-awareness about it, the more we are able to explain it to people that are not yet aware, explain it to people that are choosing different ways of life, and explain it to people to just bring all of us into that oneness, right? It's not that sustainable living is the perfect way of living, is the right way of living. I'm only talking about if we've chosen to live this way, if we've chosen to become a little bit more conscious towards what we are consuming and what we are contributing back to the environment, then we need to know why we're doing this, first of all. And we need to know how we do it, why we do it, when we do it, what, all of those things, right? For all of that, we need to get a little bit more equipped. And I think we have so many people in the media right now talking about it. Just listening to things, watching things, reading things will give us ample amount of knowledge. Sharing things, discussing things with each other is for me, it's the best way to gain knowledge, because it's like it's got real life experience, and it tells you ways in a more realistic way, like not about a textbook and theory and everything, but also tells us from one's own experience. So yeah, I think today this is what I wanted to focus on and offer to you. And take it and think about how much you can nourish and nurture yourself first, and with that to be able to give and offer. Check in with what all you've been doing. If you haven't started, that's a check-in point as well. I haven't started anything. That's a check-in point. Let me start with this. So check in where you are in this whole journey. And the third thing is, ask yourself why you're doing it. Why, if you're buying certain things to replace certain things, why are you buying it? In what way is it causing a positive effect? So ask yourself about these things. Yeah, I hope you sort of found this video a bit informative. And any questions, any comments, any feedback, please share, and really happy to keep talking about it, discussing about it. And even if you don't comment directly, I keep receiving a lot of direct messages, so it's okay in any form. If you want to discuss, I think I myself am a beginner, so the more we talk, the more we kind of establish bigger impacts. Yeah, so have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon.